So it's funny when you have a month to think about regrets, all the memories that kind of come back to you. And I was sitting there thinking of a story to tell for tonight, and I got caught up in all the weird, crazy times that I've had growing up, mostly like getting in trouble with my dad and learning like little things that he would say that turned into like life mottos for me. Like the one time when I talked him into letting me stay at my friend's house until midnight, even though I was supposed to be home at 11. And by the time I looked at the clock again, it was 12:30. And so to get home faster, you had to drive faster. And that meant backing out of my friend's driveway faster, which was fine because there were two bushes on either side of the driveway. And my friend was backing out and I was going in front of him and he was hurrying up and I was hurrying up and I didn't hit a bush, but he did, and then I hit his car really hard. So instead of walking into my house at 12:45 and waking up my dad and saying like, hey, I'm really sorry I'm late, but, I just want to let you know I'm home, I had to wake him up and say, hey, really sorry I'm late. The Jeep is messed up, the taillight's out, and we have to pay for Ryan's car. I don't know what happened. We can talk more about it in the morning. That's where I learned that it's better to always go forward if you don't have to go in reverse. And I know he meant just like don't hit people's cars, but I kind of took that as like a life motto. So if anytime that I'm kind of thinking of that, it's just like always try to stay positive and look forward, never try to go in reverse. He had other things that, I keep in mind a lot, like it's more than a hat rack tie, and then the classic, like just don't be an idiot. But growing up with all these like little sayings that my dad said in our relationship, he really tried to guide me to a path that he never had. My dad never went to college. He worked as a tire boy, a mechanic, always manual labor. And the one thing he wanted from me was to go to college. He wanted me to go to like a 4-year school and really expand on education as much as I could because he never got the chance to. So whenever I asked him if I could go to VOTEC in 10th grade, he said, no, I can teach you how to weld, but why don't you just like go and learn Spanish or some other language and take part in the arts and stuff. And I was like, all right. So I spent a lot of time in art classes. And because I wasn't allowed to go and learn construction because he would teach me, or welding because he would teach me, I'm not a very safe person. It's probably good that I don't do either one of those things, just for the record. I got really involved in the arts. And when I was starting my 11th grade year, while most people were worrying about where they were gonna go to college, where they were gonna get accepted, when they were gonna take the SATs, I was worrying about what I was gonna say at my dad's funeral. He always hated what he did, and that's why he had such a strong push for me to go to college, because no matter what he was doing, whether it was a mechanic at the Ford dealership downtown or working maintenance on third shift and having me and my mom bring him lunch after she got off with work, he always didn't really like what he had to do. It was always a job. It was never fun. He never looked forward to work. So when he died, he had finally found a job that he really enjoyed, and it was something different I saw in my dad. And he worked it for a couple months, but he picked up a new hobby, and that was flying, and he died in a plane crash on a foggy August night. And I found myself in the same position with my friends going into school my junior year, and I didn't really care about the SATs. I didn't really care about going to college. I was kind of carefree. I didn't really see a future in anything, and not in a bad way. It was always hard for me to picture like a year from now if I don't even know if I have problems tomorrow. And that kind of led me to a dead end. And in 12th grade, took all the art classes I could take. And I said, I'll take photography. It seems easy. It's kind of a blow-off class. I was always a painter and a drawer. And I thought like photographers were like, it's a sham. Like you just capture what's in front of you. There's no skill involved. Like it's pretty easy. I thought it was dumb. So I ended up taking this class because I really enjoyed the teacher. One of the best teachers I've ever had, Mr. Sampson. And within the first couple weeks of taking this class, I really fell in love in the darkroom. And I found out that there was a bigger, broader world than just taking a picture and, the grip and grins and everything I thought the photography was. So I was deciding what to do for college. And I had applied at Slippery Rock because I had friends that went to Slippery Rock, and there were bars there I knew, and I could probably get into them. And I got the application back for Slippery Rock, and I was accepted, and I was gonna try to get into their safety management program. OSHA wouldn't have liked that. Nobody having me manage their safety would have liked that. Like I said before, not a safe guy. But I remember having a conversation with my teacher and asking him what he would do. If he could do it all over again, would he dive 100% into photography? And I was at this kind of crossroads between going to a 4-year school and kind of, doing what my dad never could and going to this 2-year photography school in the suburbs of Philadelphia. I ended up doing the latter of those two. And I ask myself often, I have the last 5 years, if I would make my dad proud today, because I didn't do what I thought he wanted me to do. But there's the path that I took in photography has led me to a lot of great people. It's led me to my girlfriend. It's led me on the stage. It's led me to tell stories that I think are really important. And it's small things like my mom sending me a picture of USA Today's front cover of a picture that I took when she's at a hotel in New York City and saying she's proud. And talking with people who appreciate the work that we do in journalism, that really makes me know that I have zero regrets about my decision that I made. And I know that standing here today, I would make my dad proud. Thank you.